Now, there was some issue at the residence of the main opposition leader, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and it was that the NDC was having a health walk, and 8 members who were doing that health walk found themselves in front of Nana Akufo-Addo's house, and then some incidents transpired. You are aware of what has gone on. The NPP issued a statement signed by Nana Komia here, who will be speaking first on the issue, blaming it on the NDC. Then the NDC regional chairman issued a statement, organized a press conference, blamed the NPP, and used some language that was very, very, very harsh, and suggested to people that the political temperature is being taken a bit too far. Then you heard the president later blame the police for what had happened. And then we had the US and UK embassies issuing statements and suggesting that people will be denied visas if they were involved in some of these things. So, moving to election matters. Why is the NPP convinced, as you have indicated in your statement, that it was Akogan, one of the contemnors, those people convicted for contempt, who led and deliberately led that quote-unquote attack on Nana Akufo-Addo's house?
Thank you, Samson. Well, the gentleman, Akogan, has not come to deny it.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
He has a statement?
Yes.
He wasn't part of it?
No, he led no such attack.
But he was there?
He has.
Okay, so
Yeah, because he was cited.
I'm letting you speak first, so you will speak last, because it's an issue concerning you and your party.
If he wasn't there, there's a different matter. But he was there, he was standing there, he was seen by the eyewitnesses, and he himself hasn't denied it. What he has sought to say is that the provocation came from the other side. You see, something. Look, we all know how we keep our crowds during this election period. We all know when we are going on demonstrations, normally from Kwame Nkrumah Circle into town, one of those tents on the road goes to the NDC ultramodern headquarters. All the time we keep our supporters from veering off to that road. That's what we do. The police themselves block that road, and the organizers of the demonstrations also prevent people from trying to veer to that section. So for a whole political party to mass up thousands of supporters next to the house of the main opposition leader, and then an attack on the house happens, and then we are told that it's actually the 3 security people, because the flag bearer himself, the opposition leader, was out of town with the main security. There was just some token security, 3 people left in the house. And a political party masses up thousands of supporters next to the house, and then we are told that the 3 security people in the house set upon and provoked the thousands of NDC supporters. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It's only in the minds of the NDC that anything like that can happen. What you did was wrong. It was deliberate. It was provocative. And you should apologize properly. And this business about saying that you were rather set upon by the 3 people, please, don't take politics to that level. And even the president has not covered himself with glory in this matter. He is seeking to blame the police, that the police should have been more diligent. I understand the police have come out to say that they did all that they could. I understand they've come out with a statement like that. But be that as it may, this matter, yesterday there was an editorial on VOA on this matter. It's giving us a bad image all over the place. The British government has issued a statement condemning it. The American government has issued a statement condemning it. The European Union has issued a statement condemning it. Yesterday, Voice of America had an editorial on this matter. It's giving us bad press internationally. you know, and for what purpose? Just for what purpose? Why would you want to do that? Why are you going to put your supporters in a position to set upon the home of the leader of the main opposition? What are you going to get by that? And then when the statements have come from these international bodies and countries, then the NDC comes to say that it is just NPP propaganda that the British government and the American government and so on are feeding on. It's just NPP propaganda. Stop those things. You've done something that is wrong, and you should apologize properly, admonish your supporters, and take steps to ensure that it doesn't happen. Can you imagine if we mobilize 2,000 NPP supporters in Dansoma, next to the house of, say, Adekoka, who is the head of the MPP in Accra? Can you imagine if we did that? And then we're then to tell people that, oh, Adekoka's watchman or something came and provoked us. You know, but that's what they are telling us. It's very shameful episode in our political history, and it should not be repeated. And the blame should not be shifted to the police. The blame should be put squarely where it should be. The massing up of your supporters next to the house of the main opposition leader. That is the plain fact.
Okay, thank you. I want to hear from Felix now, and you're going to be very brief about it. But I think that I have an obligation that because I have just seen these messages to share them on the first issue, because this is an individual whose name, a very good friend of Dominic, is Ankuma. He's mentioned him a number of times as he made his submissions. I tried to get into try to see how we could state certain things properly. But apparently, whilst all that was going on, I wasn't looking at my phone. Ace has sent in some messages here. Now, he says that, I think that also supports what Nana Akomiaha was saying earlier. He says, read paragraph 19 of the affidavit dated the 12th of October by Sheila Beidu. Okay, paragraph 19 reads that it has become necessary to make... Yes, okay. It has become necessary to make the instant application as a result of the fact that the earlier Ganeshi proceedings initiated by the Republic yielded no meaningful results, which application in all candor ought to have preceded the initial application for Ganeshi order. Okay. So it supports what Nana Akomiaha said, that the Attorney General had actually admitted that this step ought to have preceded the earlier ones. Okay, so if you were reading earlier and you stopped at not yielding meaningful results, then you didn't get the full grasp of it. Then he says, in other words, we didn't get jack from his bank accounts because we should have come for the oral examination of Woyome before going on that wild goose chase. The AG issues the FIFE in the Supreme Court, which is right. When people pop up to make claims over the properties, they do so in the High Court, completely wrong court. But then our AGs disputes to the notice of claim and are also filed in the High Court. How? So he has a number of issues that he raises on this. And then I'll read one more where he says, as recently as the 29th of July 2016, the AG wrote to the Registrar of the Supreme Court that monies recovered from Woyome's accounts should be paid into two designated accounts. So if you look at one, PNDC Secretary, Minister of Justice account, and two, Ministry of Justice lodgement of royalties account, there was no mention of an Iyoko account. So what happened? If some of the monies could go into those accounts, why Iyoko now? Thank you, Ankuma, and forgive me, if I had seen them earlier, I would have read them whilst we're going on with that.
Iyoko account?
Sorry, please not go. Let's not go back.
Right.
You have said what you think about it.
All right.
Yes. So
Samson, we and we've put it on record. We flatly deny the MPP claim that we mobilize supporters to go and attack the house of the MPP flag bearer. We categorically reject that accusation, especially when they have provided no proof. At the very least, there are pictures of some thugs, basically, at Nanado's house wielding offensive weapons. That is in the public domain. I am challenging the MPP to show us proof of any NDC person throwing stones into Nanado's house, and I will be the first to condemn it. The other point is that you see all forms of political violence is condemnable. Often, political parties tend to make excuses and justify their position in these matters. So if you want to take an objective stand, what you do is to condemn the violence. But rushing to the media to put out unverified accusations against one party or the other does not make your case substantive and legitimate. And that is where we have taken issue with the statements by the British and American delegation in Ghana. If you read the EU statements, they were very objective. They didn't take sides. They simply spoke about the need to avoid conduct like that and called on all parties to ensure that their supporters conduct themselves properly. I would imagine that no.
It's a conduct
no,
like what?
like the incident that happened.
Which is
the incident is that our supporters contend, and indeed our regional leadership has also contended that they did not attack Nanado's house, and that it was on realizing.
What were they doing there?
No, first of all, the frontage, the street in front of Nanado's house is public property. Okay, he has a residence. But nobody can tell me that I, as a member of the NDC, cannot use that road simply because the MPP flag bearer lives there.
We're talking about a special location like this.
Listen.
And at this time of the period of the year.
But Samson, why should the mere fact that people are passing or members of an opposing party are passing in front of the house of the MPP flag bearer occasion reason for concern for people in that house? It is if they are able to, if they are able to establish that there was a premeditated attack or some overzealous party supporters in the course of the procession started attacking the house and they reacted in a way to protect their principal, that is understandable. But in the present case, they have provided no proof. Well, the matter is still under investigation. But the point Nana Akomia made about the intervention of the US and British governments is substantive. Their statements sought to lay blame at the doorstep of the NDC, and I would imagine that that is not how diplomatic missions ought to be conducting themselves. They appear to have based those statements on claims made by the MPP. They should have averted their minds to the position taken by the NDC.
So they were biased?
Yes, in all candor they were.
Against you?
No, in all candor they were. And indeed, if you recall, when we issued the statement, the US ambassador has come back to attempt to clarify his position. He has now said that they did not single out the NDC for blame.
Your problem was the use of targeting.
Exactly. That presupposes that what the MPP is saying about the NDC is
that
true.
your understanding of targeting is wrong.
Oh, but what other understanding could there be? No, you see, what other understanding could there be if you say they condemn the targeting of the house of Nana Akufo-Addo for attack? It simply means that the NDC people went to attack the house after they targeted it. There's no other meaning.
Thank you.
I think that the EU statement was more.
I see.
More
thank you.
Balanced. And that is how it should be.
So, like Felix is saying, these were people who were passing by that place and unprovoked, then things happened.
Perhaps they panicked because of the masses. Some people were coming, they thought that something nasty could happen. But we deny that we attacked the house.
I was wondering whether the Public Order Act was in abeyance. If those who undertook that march or health walk and the police had adhered strictly to the Public Order Act, I'm sure this wouldn't have happened. Are we being told that the people were in motion all the time? I'm sure some people got stationary for a while. And such things happen with a crowd. You know,
they got stationary or Nanado's guards stopped them.
How could that happen? They got stationary. I think somebody is not admitting something. Look, they got so
maybe
there's a certain level of responsibility that the NDC regional party leadership must take, as well as the police. Yeah, I have a little difficulty with the security guards. Yeah. I think firing the warning shots was also avoidable. It ought not to have happened. You must determine the level of the threat. And I don't think it got there. But nobody can convince me that people didn't throw stones.
What they said was that the people were banging on the gates.
Okay, thank you.
I still would not go for firing. I still would not.
Thank you, guys.
I still would not fire warning shots.
Okay.
When it's a crowd, you are not careful. Even that could provoke more reaction. So I think that a little bit of restraint on the part of the private security is also necessary. They ought to restrain themselves. You have to be very, very careful when and how you fire warning shots.
Right. Dom, you being the Deputy Attorney General, does it not come to you as a surprise that, like Kuku asked the question, it doesn't look like the Public Order Act was applied here? Obviously, there would have been the need to have dealt with the police before this work would take place, notice, and then they would have earmarked the routes to go through, and the police would not allow that a crowd of NDC supporters use the frontage of Nanado
and get stationary for a while.
I do agree with him with respect to adherence to the Public Order Act. I am not too sure that the police would have excluded that route, from, being accessed by our supporters, right? If, for instance, the police, in their own assessment, took the view that just merely walking past the house of the main opposition leader,
that was
it would pose a threat to him. Having said that, and I'm sure you know that in my history, in my private life, I used to do criminal defense work. All right, I watched the MPP press conference, and I watched the house of Nana Akufo-Addo. I saw that they had put some broken bottles and stones and so on and so forth, right? Well, we dispute that because there was video clips of stones. There are the claim that we threw.
So that's we put the stones.
In fact, that's where I was coming to. That's where I was coming to. I will not disassociate myself. In fact, I agree with my brother.
We put the stones there.
I do agree.
Sorry.
I do agree with you because you see.
Sorry. Please, it's okay.
For you to say that a crime of that nature, because you are accusing our supporters of having engaged in criminal conduct. For you to say that has taken place, you should have shown not only the fact that the stones were lying in your but that they were being. I mean, in this day of CCTV footage and all that, I don't see how you could have proven that without the other evidence, which is that the stones were actually thrown, and that you didn't. No.
Okay, thank you.
And nobody was hurt. Everybody were prepared to
do
dodge
two
the
security people there. Everybody else was in the main house.
Thank you, gentlemen. Right, that question has come, and I've heard that, well, the police, if they feel that is needful, they should get the CCTV, because it's very central. They should get the CCTV also released. Thank you very much, all of you, and thank you all for listening. Well, I have seen that a call is coming through to me, and it's supposed to be coming from Ako Gun, as identified, but he sent a text message, and he says, as a lawyer, I expected you to be different from the grand agenda of Joy FM. Since you have decided not to find out the truth and join them, I am asking you to inform Akomia not to use my name in their propaganda. It's now your agenda to use Munchi 3 as an agenda against the president. It will not wash. Okay, so see, sorry.
The accusation made against him.
So we are, please, gentlemen. No, this is not yours. This belongs to us. And let me say this. Godwin Akogan, you would realize that right after I read your message, the Attorney General felt it was in bad taste. Felix feels the same about me. But I want you guys to know, those of you who feel Joy FM has a grand agenda, some of us are, we are not interested, particularly me. I can tell you for a fact, I'm not interested in your politics. I do my job and I'll do it to the best of my ability always. Thank you very much. And you see here is the election manual on election adjudication. And Kweku, as you asked for, this is an autographed copy from the Chief Justice to you.
Thank you.
And I got 3 copies for all of you who will be on this show. Thank you very much. So this from the Chief Justice and the Judiciary. And also it's by the DFID of the UK. They sponsored it. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
That's the end of the show. Have a good afternoon.